Indiana Fever have gone on their first 5-game win streak in a decade. The Indiana Fever are better without Caitlin Clark.
If Caitlin can come back healthy, then they might have an actual chance this year.
The Indiana Fever are back in the headlines, and not just for their wins. Coach Stephanie White just made a bold claim. We don't need Caitlin Clark. But what did she really mean? Is this the beginning of a new era for the Fever, or the start of a deeper conflict? August 2025. The Indiana Fever are on a roll, yet conversation isn't centered on wins. It's about what's missing. In a press conference after a 5th straight win, Coach Stephanie White dropped a line that shook the WNBA. We don't need Caitlin Clark. That's not just a headline, it's a seismic shift for a team built around her. But what's really going on here? Caitlin Clark arrived with enormous expectations and exceeded them. Her rookie season shattered records in assists, scoring, and fan engagement. Forbes estimated the Fever's franchise value at $370 million in 2025, partly thanks to the Caitlin Clark effect. She became the face of the WNBA overnight, but star power comes with baggage, media scrutiny, non-stop schedule, and pressure on a young body. In late May, Clark suffered a quadriceps strain, forcing her out for weeks. She returned briefly in early July, only to aggravate a groin injury again on July 15th versus the Connecticut Sun. That setback sidelined her indefinitely. No All-Star game, no Commissioner's Cup Finals on home floor. Stephanie White confirmed the groin re-injury and warned that opponents were playing particularly physical against Clark, increasing the risk. After the Fever beat the Seattle Storm to extend their win streak, reporters asked about playing without Clark. White replied, "We don't need Caitlin Clark to win games." She later called Clark's absence a blessing in disguise, praising depth and saying the team had grown during recovery time. But fans reacted, some accusing her of downplaying Clark's value, others praising the shift to team-first basketball. Meanwhile, the Fever thrived without Clark. Ari McDonald came in on a hardship deal and lit up the stat sheet with aggressive defense and timely scoring. Natasha Howard and Aaliyah Boston anchored the post, while Chloe Bibby added spacing. With Clark absent, Boston is averaging a career high and now shooting over 54% from the field. The team surged to a 17-12 record thanks to these stepping-up performances. But Clark isn't out of the picture. White and her staff are retooling her role. Less ball handling, more off-ball movement, and a focus on team spacing rather than solo domination. White explained her thinking. Clark demands gravity, opening passing lanes for teammates and offering defensive versatility. The aim is to preserve her long-term health and reduce physical strain. What about her return? The Fever are going slow. White repeatedly emphasized it's day-to-day, with no official timeline and a focus on strength, conditioning, and avoiding setbacks. Sources suggest a return window in the 3rd week of August, when the schedule opens up enough for practice and reintegration. That aligns with earlier projections of August 17th to 22nd Clark's case, highlights a bigger problem. The 2025 WNBA schedule packs 44 games into 17 weeks, only 2.70 days rest per game, compared to 4+ days in 2021. White identified travel fatigue and injury risk as major concerns and advocated expansion, Toronto and Portland in 2026, plus Detroit, Philadelphia, and Cleveland by 2030, to ease travel burdens and protect player wellness. Caitlin Clark's injury and her evolving role with the Fever don't just speak to one player. They shine a spotlight on the WNBA's growing pains. The league has never been more visible, more profitable, or more followed, thanks to players like Clark. But with success comes responsibility. The current WNBA schedule in 2025 pushes players to the brink. 44 games in just over 17 weeks. That's an average of just 2.7 days of rest between games. Travel is relentless. Recovery is short. Injuries are piling up across the league. Stephanie White, among other coaches, has voiced concern. She's called out the need for expansion, not just of teams, but of the calendar. A smarter schedule, more charter travel, better rest periods. Expansion teams like Toronto and Portland are in the pipeline. Philadelphia, Cleveland, and Detroit are all under discussion. But the question is, can the league build a structure that protects its stars before it breaks them? Caitlin Clark is more than just a rookie. She's the most important player the WNBA has seen in decades. And how she is handled now, physically, mentally, and strategically, will define her longevity. Will she become the next Sue Bird, the next Diana Taurasi? Or will pressure, overuse, and controversy rob us of a generational career too soon? Stephanie White's comments may have sounded cold, but maybe they weren't. Maybe they were calculated. Maybe she's playing the long game. Building a team that doesn't rely on Clark means Clark can enhance, not carry. When she returns, stronger, rested, and smarter, the Indiana Fever won't just be Caitlyn's team. They'll be ready to contend together. That's the moment we're heading toward. And history may remember this moment as the start of something far bigger than any headline. So did Stephanie White mean the Fever don't need Caitlyn Clark? Not exactly. What she meant is, we can win without overtaxing her. In a brutal schedule, this team adapted and grew. What do you think? Is this the rise of a smarter Indiana Fever, or the beginning of a deeper rift? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for the next explosive WNBA breakdown.